bosses do. Never mad, y'all, I really talk to you. On that clown shit, I can't talk to you. Picture a boss making some bosses move. Never won, nigga, but we offin' you. Low and child, nigga, that 39th shit. Wells, baby, that 39th stick. The king got his shit, shoot your crown. This came from the Wells.
Westbrook with it. Give it to LeBron at the right elbow.
Them gas. City turned to clap you for a penny. Came from the low end, the capital of the city. Shit get high here. Better wear your Glock here. We don't just grocery youngins, they hop shop here. Hit you in your body until they see it so. Put you in the wood and then they let you burn. Shit get stupid. Shot stop loud talk for sure you get muted. Gas up the plane smoke for sure you get zooted. Loud talk. I've been playing with that grass like a grandma. Bitch, I'm 39 to the death of it. I don't let the weapons spit. 40 with a drum jack kicking like some Tekken shit. Ain't from the 9 from 39. Home and BT, big shouty, right? Landscaping. When I get it going, chasing them, gotta plan. Leaves on them trees when they fall, I'm a hand raider. Bag them, seal them and get them gone. Jumped in this shit, was thirsty to see a zone. Ass peas here. Wood big as hell like I'm smoking out a tree here. Playing with the branches like a monkey in a tree here. A GF, landscaper. I play in the wild for that damn paper. I am 39. PFA shit. I ain't here to step on niggas' toes, but you see me? Yeah. Genius is genius.
You got no understanding. I'm here to do what they say and said that was impossible. Give me a problem, I'll clear the room.
Westbrook with it. Give it to LeBron at the right elbow. LeBron, one-on-one against Kenrich Williams. Backing him in. Turns. Shoots. Scores! There it is! All hail the new king in town! Young and old, gather round from one iconic Laker to another. The king, LeBron James, has passed the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and LeBron now stands alone as the NBA's all-time
Haters. The king, the GOAT, LeBron James. Y'all put some respect on that man's name. The GOAT.
The greatest of this era.
You see the photo? His kids was wearing Mike's shoes.
He's definitely the greatest of this era. He's definitely the greatest of this era.
They hustle.
Anything from him. Hey, shout out to Shop Cuz. Shout out to the chat.
That was not me. That was Luch, Landscaping Luch.
Yes, that was him. Yes. At the beginning of that reel, that was him. Yes.
Now I do got bars though.
Yes. Shout out to Lakeisha. What up, Lakeisha? How you doing, baby girl? Lakeisha. Shout out to Nikki Spiller in the house, man. Shoptalk 7. You didn't even open the show right.
I opened it with greatness.
Yeah, you didn't open
I opened it with
right.
greatness.
You opened the show. LeBron James, who is
culture dictates that that's your job to open the show. Well, no, okay, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Shoptalk 7 in the building. We up top when we get down. The show's Tony Media Monics.
And I am Get This D Smith in the house, man, on another Shoptalk 7 Thursday night. Who we got in the building? The Nixon pose and shit.
I will not tell a lie.
I will not tell a lie.
She told me to post it.
And then how it sounded, I will not tell a lie. On that TV back then, that's how they all sounded.
Right.
All stars and 7 years ago.
You know. Yeah, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Shop Cuz. They hustle in the house. Shout out to our girl, Miss Lakeisha Harden. How you doing, baby girl? And of course, Nikki Spiller, thank you for supporting. We definitely appreciate y'all. And y'all know what we got to do. Y'all stick to the format. Got to hit up our SBOs, man, to go ahead and start the show. So definitely shout out to, like I said, Miss Nikki Spiller. Shout out to Miss Nikki Slick Design, graphics and designs. Make sure you check her out if you need some graphics and designs for your business, man. She definitely does great work. Very crisp, very sharp, very professional.
Graphics and designs.
Yeah, graphics and designs. You know what I'm saying?
Both of them.
And G&D, game making on y'all asses.
Sure.
Big GD.
But, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, make sure you holler at man for all your graphic needs. Nikki, go ahead and post your number in the chat for me, please, because I don't have it up on the screen because I'm not professional. So moving on. Shout out to Heads Down, Bottoms Up. That's the way we like to drink. Just have a sip. That's all. Y'all get your minds off the gut. I'm too old for that shit.
I am not too old.
I'm not even. So shout out to Bottoms Up Mobile Mixology LLC. Our girl Miss UB Fly, we definitely appreciate you for supporting us. Thank you very much. Shout out to Bottoms Up Mobile Mixology Services LLC, 773-314-7407. Okay. Again, that number is 773-314-7407. Okay. And guess what? She also got an email.
Oh,
It's this new thing out called email.
Oh,
Like if you want to type a message and send it to people, you can do that.
so is that like feminine and he-male is the masculine?
I guess. Because if you send Gmail, we'll go to a woman. But if you send an email, I guess perhaps.
Almost like hero.
y'all so toxic. That's just toxic masculinity.
Anyway,
Anyway,
many need our own space for email anyway. Tired of women taking our space for email. But anyway, shout out to Bottoms Up. BottomsUpMix@gmail.com. Make sure you hit her up. And also shout out to our girl, Miss Rowe Design Services. Okay. Once again, that is RO_S Designs Services. Make sure you hit her up for the accoutrement. Make sure y'all flex. Y'all see her every show, and I hope y'all know it by now. But yeah, make sure y'all shout out to Ro. Check her out for all your custom accoutrement.
That is a
needs.
fly shirt I got on today, by the way.
It is.
Got the glow.
Showing up the stuff.
Who's the master?
Yeah. So definitely shout out to Road Design Services, man. We appreciate you. Hit her up across Facebook, Instagram, Gmail at ROS Design Service. RO_S if you're searching. Design Service 773-322-3076. Again, that number is 773-322-3076. Okay. And
Get
that
you some socks to match your shirt. Because she does socks.
she does, and she also does. Man, no, I ain't gonna say no. Shut up. Because the 312 awards are coming up.
Hey.
312 awards coming up. And we gonna shit on them. So we don't say that. Anyway, shout out to our SBOs, and that does it for our SBO segment, man. Shout out, man. Shop Talk 7, baby, Thursday.
how do you
night,
listen
so.
to this and not rap?
I don't know.
I'm out here trying to make it.
I don't
They out
know.
here trying to take it
Uh-huh.
until I make that gun say Assalamu alaikum. They out here playing games, nigga. All I spy is paper. And I ain't got time for niggas trying to get their weight up. Brothers move and shake up, still can't pick a plate up. Now I gotta look them in the face and tell them stay up. But what I really mean is get a bank and raise the K up. Anarchy is best described as freedom, niggas, straight up. But that's kind of productive, right? Fucking starve another night. Push my city back into the streets to cost another life. Gotta stop the cycle where we causing one another strife. Put that energy where it belongs and send it up tonight. That's all I got for y'all. Pay for the rest. Pay for the rest.
You
As
know what it
usual.
is.
There you go.
You already know what it is, right? Same things.
Why'd I say what? I got more. I rap. I do this. I don't gotta say nothing. Me save it.
We'll talk later.
That's almost an insult. It's save it.
Don't that's not an insult.
I got verses for
No.
years.
Plenty more,
No.
nigga.
No. We need those. Hold them.
I don't need to hold nothing.
But that shit was fire,
I could come up with one right now.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Nah, just fuck with it.
Oh, okay.
Let's get to the show.
All right.
Freestyle Friday tomorrow, man. Y'all know who coming through tomorrow?
Supposedly we got Dino.
Dino
the squad in the right way. We bring it right way.
Dino it all, man. He gonna be coming through.
Shit, I don't think we need much more than that.
We don't really. But who else coming through? Anybody else?
No, there's 6,200 ghosts that say he's coming through a few times, but we'll see.
Hey, 6,200, man. Hey. We got you on record.
Flood his inbox. Frank Snack
We
Lucas.
got you on record.
No C in snack.
We got you on record.
Flood his inbox. Tell him he need to get here.
Yeah, we got you on record. Hey, shout out to Nikki Sleek Designs. Again, once again, that number is 219-306-3957. Again, 219-306-3957. And that is for Nikki Sleek Design Services, graphics, and design services.
We're gonna
And we are done with our SBO segment.
That's right. So Let's go ahead and give him a song. Come back at 45. Get right to it.
All right, let's go. Shoptalk 7, man.
I'm feeling like some other Luch, man. We're heavy.
Oh.
Let's get it.
Let's go. Shout out to Luch the Landscaper, man.
Born day. Luch. I think we should name this talk Heavy. Cause I talk heavy. BFA shit. Genius is serious. Put me in a room full of greats, you know already. Smooth nigga God with the words, but I talk heavy. Been a landscaper since Pops at top. Reggie good, I turned into a business, but they let me wall money while I'm in it. Smart enough on business for the racks. I'm at the green like a nigga playing tennis. Do you like it? Do you love me though? Some shit I wanna know. Cause them hate fat nigga, I can't fuck with those salute me. Nigga, please don't shoot me with the clip flashing, money spending, we can make a movie. Ain't changing for a soul. Them units, we get them low. Hit the homie and tell him we need a bowl. What we talking, nigga? Heavy. This big boy talk. You can break them down, make them nicks, nigga, we own it. Woo! Had to stop bumping them lows to get the motion. It had to be Shaq on the block to see me posted. Yeah, that green good. Now I got flavors, what you need. No cap off the Snoop, I swear this rapper weed is that good. Heavy talk, smooth with the walk up. Low on the tone, heavy, smooth with the talk up. My vibe heavy. Ain't searching, but I ride ready. Now my wife got my side, baby. No, we don't want that steak, we clip from beef. Don't mean we gon' let you hurt us, we let it speak. Tryna stay out the room with fake fans and losers. Focus, no time for rumors. Nigga, what they gon' say? You know how we gon' play. I'm giving you my life on this morning day. And when you see Luch winning, it was stairs till they come up. Nigga, Luch did it. Heavy. When you talk to Luch, you gotta talk heavy. This big boy action over here. Luch!
Shoptalk 7 in the building. We up top. We get down. The show's Tony Media Monics.
And I am Get This D Smith in the house, man. And we got Chill told me to post this.
Gotta post that shit.
In the house, man.
Niggas sound like Data from Star Trek when they did that.
Did I? Chill.
Is that how Data starts?
Yep.
Sounds? Yeah, I think
Chill
it's Data.
told me to post this.
It's a guy.
Hey, what's good, everybody, man? Thank y'all for tuning in again. We appreciate you guys stopping through. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with us, and we definitely appreciate your time. So, man, let's go ahead and get into this shop biz, man.
First topic up. It's really a statement. We just gonna elaborate on the statement.
Okay.
A woman will submit naturally if.
A woman will submit naturally if. Hey, for the ladies that are in the chat, please hit us up. Let me know. Let me know what y'all
I think so I got this from seeing that kind of Facebook post on Facebook and IG for a number of years. I don't think it's the right statement or question. So women don't submit naturally. You got to do something first. They don't just walk up to niggas in submission.
I'm yours.
Take it, motherfucker. You ain't did nothing.
Nah.
I don't think it works that way.
It don't work that way at all. Last I checked. Because if so, I'm in trouble. My girl is gonna be out here cheating in a minute. You know,
I think women will support will submit naturally when there's a benefit.
So that makes it not natural.
And then, I mean, the reason I say natural is because if they find a benefit in something, they naturally submit. If they don't see a benefit in it, then they're there. They
I think I'm beating up on the word natural too much here. I think what they mean by naturally is they're likely,
willingly or openly.
They're likely to submit.
Trigger.
It'll trigger submission.
Yeah, it'll trigger submission.
Yeah. So a woman. What triggers submission in women?
And please don't hang.
I should change that. I should change the question to that. Huh? Yep. I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
What triggers submission in women?
I think rephrasing that does a lot for the conversation because whenever you think of submission, most women think hand and foot. They think servant. They think the worst.
Right.
But submission really doesn't mean that. You know what I'm saying? And
there we go.
I think it means something different for most women.
What triggers submission in women? There we go.
There we go. I think that's a better conversation.
So,
comfort.
What is submission? What are we talking about when we say submission? And all three of us probably have three different answers.
I'll
may not
start by saying openly willing to let you lead.
What does that mean?
What does that look like?
Lead. Because some people take that as Now the fact that you said is disturbing. Not that you disturb me. It's that we should, if we're gonna say that shit, we should know.
Right. Well,
shout out to the chat, man.
One, it could be this, then that. However, lead by as far as when it comes to, I'll say, how do I say this non-sexist, manly shit? You know what I'm saying? Which
that's vague.
Yeah.
Can we post a link in the StreamYard?
We can.
StreamYard in the chat.
We can.
What up, Lexi Arce?
Yeah. So
she manages music,
not people.
Not people.
So yeah, but go ahead, chill. You ain't have to.
Yeah, no. So I'll say decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Your decision matters. Not to say that it matters more, but your decision. She'll listen more to what you have to say or your opinions on things versus always being there always being a debate. Not to say that you're 100% right about everything. However, if you've proven yourself to have knowledge, what you say makes sense to a point where it's like, well, you kind of be right about everything. And not to say that every one person is right about everything, or you know what I'm saying, but just saying in general, you've proven worthy enough for I don't have to second guess the decisions that you make. Right.
So those things, those are the things you're saying that trigger submission.
Yeah,
that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing.
That was about 2, 3. No, good. That's good. We needed those.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you know? You led a household. What do you know?
I know peace can trigger submission. Meaning when a woman feels comfortable, like she doesn't have to worry about certain things.
When she feels safe.
Yeah, when she feels safe. When they feel vulnerable or when they can't be vulnerable. That offers a place for them to kind of rest in certain type of energies that they can't rest in out in the world or with other people. So that often triggers submission.
Trust.
Because most women want to cuddle. Most women, I feel like, want to be held. Most women,
figuratively and physically.
Right.
Especially because of the way, even the tough ones, even the boss bitches, even
especially the boss ones,
even the hard chicks, even all that shit, man, all that tough guy shit, all that, man, get the fuck out of here with that. That's just you trying to compensate for you being in the world that we're in.
Which I understand.
Which we understand.
When you out in the world, that's what makes you tough.
And it's not your fault.
So they are tough.
Right. It's not your fault. So for guys who had that conversation about femininity and women submitting and all that shit, it's like a lot of these conversations that guys are having, they have it from a one direction perspective.
One-sided perspective, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not taking into account that men have controlled shit around women's livelihoods since the beginning of time. And at one point in time, getting with a man was a point of survival. And now we're at a point where we pulled the lid off of Pandora's box, and now women can get out here and get their own money and live their own lives, and manage their own pussies,
on the camera.
or stay home, right, or do what they want. They can do what they want to do now. They're kind of superheroes.
Their vagina management sucks, by the way.
It may, but
and I thank him for that.
They have the.
I thank him for that. I thank him for it.
They have to worry about a man and what he think about it. You see what I'm saying? Now we're in a situation where they got to own that. And we got to accept the fact that we put them in a situation where it's like, you know what? We're not going to be like the women before us. We're not going to be beaten. Y'all not going to be locking us in these marriages for umpteen years, beating the shit out of us or treating us like shit. Like y'all going out in the world fucking up. We ain't finna do that. Y'all not finna be granddaddy having a family around the corner. Damn, we ain't finna do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
took all the fun out of it.
Yeah, I mean, women.
Took all the fun.
Women got to a point where they don't want to. They don't. Submission now means you really do got to position yourself in a way that a woman can feel comfortable with you, and more than just your provision in terms of monetary or materialistic. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of women have been through hell and back. So by the time you meet them, you're meeting a protector. Mm-hmm. You're meeting a gladiator in some essence.
With a shell.
Right, with a shell. You're meeting a mental. Right. You're meeting somebody who has weapons to defend themselves, both mentally, verbally, aesthetically, spiritually in some cases.
Onion.
So
gotta peel back the layers.
You're not just dealing with a woman with a vagina. You're dealing with a person who has experience. You're dealing with a human being who has experience. You're dealing with a human being who may not have had a father figure, or who may have had a father figure. Who may have one father figure, or multiple father figures, or no father figures. So submission to her may mean that you may need to match her or to surpass her mentally, spiritually, surpass her emotionally. In other words, she got all this rage in her, but you seem to be able to manage yours very well. She has to respect that in some cases.
You almost have to break. It's almost like if you can break down those barriers.
You have to break them.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yes.
I find that they hand the motherfuckers right over. What's all that for? That's what I find.
You're right.
Well,
you're right.
Or who you find.
I can only speak from my experience.
There you go.
I'm not trying to invalidate nobody else's.
Yes. No. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I agree with that 1,000%. And I didn't mean when I made that face, I didn't mean it that way. I did mean it that way. I did mean it that way.
But no. But you opened it up. You came back with the her, like you said, your experience.
Because I'm personally not in the business of breaking down anything for them.
There you go.
I'm in the business of here's my table. Here's how it's set up.
Gotcha.
If you can rock with this, here we go.
Got you.
If you can't rock with this, I get it. Okay. Toya, bless, love you, friend. She taught me how to ride a bike.
That's what's up. Hey, shout out to the chat. Let me get in the chat real quick. Miss Arce, CEO,
Lexi Couture, if you're nasty.
Music management, where they manage music, not people.
But
she says, for me, listening to me, not as in doing what I say. She says, I mean, hearing me and comprehending what I'm saying, not replying. Definitely, not replying. I don't know. Not to reply. She's basically saying, listen to me, to hear me and understand me, not just to respond to me. And then she says, definitely adding into my piece and not disturbing it, and basking in his wonderful manliness. Okay, I love that. That's what triggers submission for her.
That's interesting.
That's lovely.
Something I noticed that also triggers submission. I'm defining submission as when she has no problem getting into her feminine nature. That's what I'm calling submission. Amongst the other things we talked about as well. I find, like I mentioned, the table. When your table's already set, she can just come in and what else is there for her to do? What other role is there for her to play? Then be your woman. She feels safe. I'm already big and burly, so they already want to cuddle. She knows she's safe financially. I mean, not like I'm a baller, but the bills are covered. You don't have to worry about those. I can, even though she probably handle her own upkeep, I can manage that. Okay. And she probably got her own stuff. But it's just about the fact that my world is also safe.
Her background, I think I want to say that her background kind of guides her now, though. So
Does it?
yes,
Yeah,
What that
yes.
absolutely.
If by chance she had to be a fighter, broken home, abusive home, whether it was childhood on up or recent relationships or whatever, to meet you and you have all of that, she might not know how to handle that.
Oh,
in the way that you want her to be comfortable in handling that.
No, I have no way in particular.
No.
I'm trying to see who she is and if I can rock with that. I don't want to change nothing. I don't want to change nothing about her.
No, but
that doesn't happen organically.
Like you were saying, as far as this is the table, this is my table, this is what I have.
Yeah.
You come on in, and can you rock with this table?
Yeah.
Some women can't.
And then they'll go.
And so there you go, per your experiences.
Yeah, that's like a rule. You got to go if you can't rock with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I want to find a woman that'll cause me to adjust.
Right.
You know, but like you got to like me first.
Right.
Because when you have your plan together and you're executing your plan, or you're already on the road. You know, it's easy for them to come in and chill, especially the ones that got the background.
Yeah.
They can't wait to drop that load.
Yeah, that's true.
That's been my experience. They can't. The angry ones are the best. They can't wait to drop that load. Like, oh my God, I can just chill.
But what about the angry, spoiled ones?
Let me
give me good enough dick. I don't know.
And see again,
They don't belong.
I dealt with a woman before that did not understand. She did not understand. I don't want to say my love language. I'm going to say she just did not understand how I showed love, because she came from a completely different background than I, where their expression of love was totally different. I was raised up hugs and kisses and things like that or whatever. Being told I love you, versus where they might have had love being shown by a slap across the head, or like negative talk, which we call laughing and joking, talking about you. They over out east they call it the Jonesing. The thing is, I wouldn't understand that. That's not love. You just said every time I get up to go get a plate of food, they seem like they're getting bigger and bigger. No, you talking shit about me. That's not telling me you love me. Yeah. Whereas once you learn somebody and find out, when y'all talk shit about each other, that's your way of saying I love you. Whereas I came up, hey, I love you. Yeah. I don't have to disrespect you. I can say, hey, have a great day. I love you. I'll see you later. No.
It's a reverse psychology way of breaking you down, but still building you up.
There you go.
I mean, sometimes that's just how people love.
That's what I'm saying.
Like your mama, I've been in spaces where we loved each other so much, the mama jokes was fine. We always laughed. Like, this nigga having a bad day if he ain't cracking a joke.
Right.
I low-key need him cracking jokes. Mm-hmm. Even some of the worst jokes. I need him doing it because that's how I know he cool. He'll share his chips when he in the middle of cracking his jokes.
One of the things I was thinking about when y'all were talking about this is another thing that I think may trigger submission in a woman is allowing her, like, for example, I know we got this battle right now, or what seems to be this battle between traditional and modern, which is people who want the traditional benefits but want to live the modern lifestyle, and it don't mix. So one of the things that I think that people have to start to really understand is when you meet somebody, you're meeting somebody who's already established in their world. And if you're trying to live through traditional means, which most of us would agree, probably in some aspects were not the best situations or the best options for that situation, you can expect somebody to give up what they've built to make them whoever they are, to come into your world and just be who you want them to be.
Yeah,
that may be far-fetched at this point in life, in existence.
Go get your broke woman.
Not to say that you can't find them.
I have one.
You right. Not to say you can't find them.
They'll be traditional.
You have to find somebody who needs you in a whole lot of capacity, that they are willing to just throw their hands up and say, "Shit, I'm gonna depend on you."
Yeah. I mean, like most men with submissive type women make more than them. They're able to provide a better lifestyle than they were. I'm gonna say they were able to upgrade them. I can upgrade your situation, or I make more money than you, or you could use my
some sort of benefit.
You know, it's transactional, which I'm totally okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's here for a price.
I guess my argument is is that really submission or is that compromise? Because
Submission.
if I'm somebody who has lived my life for 30-some years, I've been in college, I done pledged this, maybe I didn't pledge, maybe I didn't even go to college. You know, maybe I got a job out of high school. You know, maybe I partied all my 20s. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I built a career or a business over my 20s. Who knows? You know, but here I am in my 30s and I live my life, and now all of a sudden you want me to put my house away, put all my shit in your name.
Oh no.
Hold on, because you're gonna take care of me, right?
No, I'm not asking her. I said earlier, you maybe you missed it. I said broke.
But submission.
I said broke. You go get you somebody who could use you for something. That's what I said. Okay. I'm dead ass. Okay. I'm not asking a woman who got all this stuff that I don't got yet to submit. I'm not asking her that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can't come together and make something happen, but I'm not. First of all, I don't ask any woman to submit. Oh. I've never asked that in my life. It will never happen. But generally, if she's going to submit, meaning she's going to follow my vision because I got the plan. Mm-hmm. She not surpassed me already, because that don't make sense. I'm gonna submit to her if I'm gonna be with her. Hey, what you got going on, baby? I'm gonna support that.
Right. Okay. I was about to say that, because here's what I'm saying. We're not dealing with 1940s or 50s, 30s type women.
Backhand them off.
You're dealing with women who have learned the game. You're dealing with women who understand shit. You're not dealing with dummies. We're not dealing with women who just want dick and, you know, they get goofy because they want dick and then they'll cook everything you want them to cook. I
don't know. I feel like we just diss those kind of women.
No, what I'm saying is you have to account for, when we're talking about submission, you got to account for the fact that most chicks are going to be women who have established themselves by themselves. They didn't establish themselves under the comfort of another man. So when you pass them on to another man, they're not in a position to just jump in line, to just fall in line, because that's what they had before. Most women are out here doing it by themselves. Most women are single parents. You know what I'm saying? Most women have been taught to get something for what you got. So it's a hustle all day.
Yeah.
So in some cases, so you're not dealing with a docile, you know,
calling a lot of names right now.
And that's something. You
don't got to be docile to submit.
I'm saying you're not dealing with that kind of a woman.
It just depends on the alpha that they.
It depends on what you got going. Let's say I'm running. Let's say my Mono House Productions is up and running. I'm making 6 figures off what I'm doing. Right. Mm-hmm. She's making 60. Mm-hmm. Let's say I can manage her stuff and mine and put her up.
So you can
and make her even better. Yes, she's gonna come get with my program, and she's gonna be my pretty dainty little thing, and that lion is gonna drop where it needs to. She probably still gonna have it for the outside world. Cool. But big lion is at the crib, not at the crib. I'm out in these streets, getting to whatever I gotta get to.
Get to the bag.
You know, she's gonna be able to get with that. I'm not saying submit like I'm trying to dominate her. I'm only trying to dominate in the bedroom.
What I'm saying is most people, when they think, that's why we try to establish what you consider submission. You know what I'm saying, to begin with, because most people have a good one now. When you think submission, most people think, like you said, hey, I throw my hands up, whatever we gonna do, it's up to you.
I'm gonna trust you with it. Yeah.
I'm gonna trust you.
Those women are out here in plenty.
I'm gonna stay home. If you say, you know, it's gonna be okay, I'm gonna say it's gonna be okay. But unfortunately, what's happened is most women have lived actual life and understand that shit ain't gonna always be okay when a nigga says it's gonna be okay. No matter how many times he was able to handle shit. That may be his pattern, but eventually some shit he can't handle. So you always have to have a reason, not even a reason, but you always kind of have a mindset of, if this does not work, should he go down, I may need to step in and do something.
No doubt.
So again, when we talk about submission, most women aren't thinking, hey, I'm going to drop my business, put it to the side, I'm gonna quit my job, put it to the side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he got 6 figures and he can buy this. He can do this. He has the means to do this. But what trick bag does that put me in?
Yo,
If I decide to jump on that program and he decide, okay, well, shit, you know what? Year 2 is when I'm gonna hit the switch on your ass.
I can't. I'm not suggesting whatsoever that a woman who has that going on fall under any man who can't double her effort. I'm not saying
he could double.
I'm not.
Even if he triple.
No, I'm saying.
He could quadruple.
Well, that's what you're saying.
I'm pushing the envelope to say that the point is you're asking her to give up her life independence to roll with your plan.
No,
so it
I'm
may
not.
not be as simple as, hey, I got double what you got or quadruple what you got. So on paper, you should submit.
You're oversimplifying.
I'm not oversimplifying.
I'll tell you why. I think you're oversimplifying.
Okay.
And maybe that ain't the phrase, but it's the word I'm using because it's what I got right now.
Okay.
I'm not asking those things. I'm not asking those things of any woman who got their shit going on already. Either we're gonna collab, or if you got it going on, I'm gonna see where I can fit in with your thing.
Okay.
No problem for me, because I'm still me regardless, and I'm still gonna maintain my ability to do what I need to do for myself. I have children. I can't give nobody that much power.
So, would it be fair to say that men have a capacity to submit as well?
Hell yeah.
Or that there should be, or that men should acknowledge the fact that there's a capacity that they have to submit as well.
Yeah.
That if you want a woman to submit, especially if you're talking about a modern day woman, so you're talking about a woman in 2023.
Yeah.
That you're gonna have to find your way of submitting to her in some ways.
In some way, yeah. Now she still wants you to be big dog, so that's a tricky balance.
Of course.
But personally, I'm not gonna lie to you. Personally, look, if I ran into a situation where it made sense for me, where a woman made more and had all this going on,
yeah,
great. Am I likely to do that? I'm gonna be honest. Nah, I'm not. Okay. I'm not likely to put myself in that position.
Hey, y'all hit up the stream, man. Hit up the stream, y'all. We put the link in the chat, man. So y'all make sure y'all hit us up.
I'm not likely to put myself in that position. We call it ego, call it. I don't care. I know what the dynamic I like is out here, so I'm after it.
I stand on the understanding that relationships are 51-49. There's a minority, and a majority. One in the relationship likes the other more than the other likes them, and usually the one that's doing the more liking is the one that's losing in the relationship.
Does that part matter to you? Who likes who more? It don't matter to me. Am I getting what I need from this situation? That's what matters to me.
I've to say that because of the fact that I've been the on the losing end of that. I've given more than I've received a time or two.
As a man, that is going to be common.
However,
that's also worth something though.
So
that's where it's here to that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would say.
But then, how do you quantify what she gives? How do you actually quantify these things? I paid all the bills. I was a protector. I made sure everybody was safe. I made sure everybody had what they had. But boy, listen, me not having to cook my own meals and me not having to do a lot of cleaning and me having a beautiful woman to come home to, my kids taken care of when I get to the crib. Shit, that is crazy valuable for me. That's very valuable. To me, it was fair exchange. But you mean all I gotta do is spend money and I can have this island of peace when I get to the house?
I'm not gonna say that part. All I gotta do is spend money. No, because a prostitute costs $40.
Buy that piece too.
Or $20, depending on where you go.
I mean, that's just based on where you at. If you in a space where you just want to prostitute right now, cool.
No, but
I got somebody managing my affairs that costs more than $40.
Now there's
which
definitely
part of the because
which part
per that example, and I shouldn't stick to just wholeheartedly on that. But what you said was as long as she looked good, which looks don't last forever. She's at home cooking. You can cook for yourself, taking care of the kids.
They can grow up.
They're gonna grow up.
Not having to is valuable for me. Is my point.
Yeah,
it's valuable for me. I ain't saying it's got to be valuable for you.
Gotcha.
That's the value that I put on those things. No, because when I'm in a mode where I want to be a square, that's what I want.
And to have been in similar situation, living situation. Yeah, no, to come home and know it versus the way the crib look now. Coming home and
empty and shit.
Yeah, and dusty. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. You come to the crib and it's like what we take for granted, which is what you said as far as I ain't got to worry about sitting down and looking. Damn, that motherfucker dusty as hell. Don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? At the time, cool. Cooked meal. I wasn't always getting the cooked meal, but just to say, yes, that I definitely value in that.
Babe, what you want to eat? I used to love that phone call.
Yeah,
I love that phone call.
Yeah. I want to say that there's a little more to it.
There's a lot more to it. I just named the basics.
Okay.
There's nuances.
Yeah, cool.
But for me, fucking sucking, cooking, and cleaning, for me, is basics.
We're on the same realm.
I think part of the key to that, man, like I said, is finding that balance where you both can submit to each other. Because it's almost like, you play Nintendo. You know how it is. You have to do certain things to unlock certain things in the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you did extra shit, you unlock the extra special shit.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And everybody's submitting. Let's clear that shit up.
Oh, yeah.
The Bible says submit one to another. And you ain't got to be religious to understand that.
Yeah, that's very simple.
You know what I'm saying?
That's basic relationship.
I'm submitting things for the betterment of the group.
That's basic relationship.
And the betterment of the group ain't always a money thing. Sometimes it's a sense of peace. Sometimes both of you are sacrificing for the kids.
Your presence is sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm
showing up. You just showing up is part of that sacrifice.
Both of us only dealing with one set of genitals is a sacrifice. Yeah. I acknowledge you come home to this shit every day. Because at some point you get the same dick for a little while. Yeah. Until I realize shit, let me change something up. You know?
So you definitely have to learn to you definitely have to come into a situation understanding that submission is a two-way street.
Yep.
So just as much as we would love to have a conversation from a man's standpoint of women need to submit, I think a lot of those conversations are ignoring the fact that women are built outside of your preference. You know, they're not necessarily built the way you would like them to build. You have to deal with what they are and not what you would like them to be or hope that they would be. Now, granted, you're going to find some women who are down to earth and easygoing and, fall in line very basic, very easily.
I need willingness.
Yeah, that's a form of submission.
You find that.
That's a form of submission.
You'll find that, but you'll also find women who are opportunists.
Facts.
And will fold and conform to a situation that they deem is benefit for them.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Yes.
Think about the times where you had a woman who was willing, and the times you had a woman who wasn't as willing.
Yes.
What were the differences in those times? Were there any similarities to the ones that were willing, and similarities to the? I'm talking about. I'm not talking about how they were. I'm talking about how you were.
And we say willing to what? Willing
in the form of submission. They were willing to get with your program. They were willing to, soften themselves for you.
What I found is that.
In which point? Which one?
Both.
Well, okay.
What I found is that you will get the perception of submission, or you'll get the smell of submission, or you'll get the aroma of submission, or you'll get pseudo submission, or you'll get a form of submission, which normally equates to sex. Normally. And that's quote unquote the ultimate submission, right?
No, not really. Not for me.
Not really. But most people,
it's up there though. It's up there.
Feminine women, most women feel like sex is that ultimate, like, when I gave you sex, that's the ultimate I could give you. So there's a bargaining chip there. So I think what happens is, as long as everything is good and you don't rock the boat, you can get submission until you decide to actually call out what you see in reality, which is actual reality, which is, hey, I'm showing up to work, got my shirt and tie on.
So have you
do the job, doing my job and everything, but you don't see me drinking on the parking lot on break.
So have you
That's
never
the real me?
So if you never
now you see me on break drinking in the parking lot, and you say, hey, wait a minute, hey, let me pull you to the side. Hey, I noticed that you drink in the parking lot. Now all of a sudden we got a problem because you're calling me to task on reality. What I want you to believe is what you saw me come through the door on. And a lot of times, that's where you get the submission pulled back.
So are you saying you've never had a woman who's willing to serve you?
I didn't say that.
Oh, I didn't say you said it. I was asking.
No, I didn't. I'm not
because when I asked the question, you went right into that example.
I'm telling you, it's twofold. What happens is you'll get the submission when it's a benefit to them.
So
the minute you rock the boat, and that could be in a harsh way, or that could be in a subtle way, which is, hey, I just noticed. Well, the minute you rock reality that they're trying to build for you because it's bringing them a benefit, because it's bringing them a benefit, suddenly you're going to have conflict. That's my experience.
But that's not, I don't know, maybe I need to word it different because that's not.
What you asking me?
Yeah, that's not what I was asking you. What I was asking you was, I asked on your end what was going on when, I guess if and when
I just told
you didn't tell me what was going on.
I called reality out. And when I called reality out, it was like, hey, wait a minute, why are you calling reality out?
Yeah, still not answering the question.
I'm answering the question.
You're not.
So what's
because you didn't even let me finish.
Go ahead.
You didn't even let me finish. What's the word I'm looking for? Clarifying what I was trying to what I meant.
Okay.
clarify?
I'll ask me and I'll answer. Maybe this will help.
Okay.
What was going on with you during the times you were able to get a woman to be willing and to submit? What dynamic did you bring to the table?
I was being me.
Okay, there you go. So you were being me. What about
I was being me.
You were being you.
Yeah.
What is that? You know that's vague. What is that?
I was being myself.
I mean, what is that?
I told them what I was going on at the time. I told them my situation. I said, this is what it is.
Damn.
This is what it is.
Okay.
Now I understand this is where you I understand this is where you are. And I get that that's where you are. But this is where I'm at. Now, if you want to interact, we can find a bridge somewhere where we can do that
And
and cohabitate. And that bridge,
Damn.
it ain't a lane. It's a bridge. So if we're going to work in that bridge, we're going to work in that little bitty space. Now, what I found is people try to expand that bridge into a lane. And when I say, hey, wait a minute, hey, remember that bridge we talked about that we agreed to? You're trying to make it a lane, and I'm noticing that you're making it a lane. Now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy because I'm shaking the boat now.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden I'm calling out reality as I see it in real time. But now it's a conflict. So that submission that I was getting before, where it was like, oh, cuddles. Cuddles. You're that guy. You're the cuddle guy for me. But the minute you start calling out reality, like, hey, wait a minute, you're trying to morph this into a relationship that you ain't ready for. You ain't ready for because we talked about this. We talked about it. We spoke before we got here. Before we ever got to sex, before we ever got to cuddling, we spoke about where you were and where I am at. And I told you, hey, I understand where you're going and where you're coming from, what you've been through. Cool. Okay. This is where I'm at. If you want to rock, we can rock. But let's keep it here so it's simple.
I'm trying to. Peace. That's your answer. What you, Chip?
Very, very, very similar to what he just said. What he said triggered the thoughts. With that being, damn, yeah, that I mean, like that. That I was in. I was in that right there.
Shout out to the chat, man. Hit us up, baby.
Many moons ago, I was friendly with a pair and a spare many moons ago. A pair and a spare. And however, I was honest to say that, look, I'm young and dumb. I'm not trying to settle down right now. Not right now. I'm a good dude, and I'm good to settle down with. I'm a little altered though. I'm a little battered. I've been through some things. So
at least you admit it.
Oh, I did.
At least you admit it.
So you got to give me a minute. You know what I'm saying? However, there's 60 minutes in an hour. And I said, give me a minute. And say, hey, I think we getting close to hours. Let's do this. Hey, wait a minute now. So,
man, you call out reality, dude. Not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So
in some cases, man,
now I will say this: to look back on that one, that might have been my one. To look back on that as I like search through, because I'm just fairly new to Facebook. I'm almost 2 years in for 3 years.
You're not new now.
No, shut up. So as I look back, it's like, damn, that might have been the one. However, there was faults that I kind of flaws that I kind of could not deal with at the time.
Wouldn't accept.
I wouldn't accept.
You wouldn't accept why? Because you couldn't ignore what you saw.
So,
and because the thought at the time was forever, and it's like I just can't not
be forever.
deal with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be forever. Let's talk about it.
I'm nitpicking and shit. I can't deal with that.
Yeah, but let's talk about
so
it.
the question was,
Shit.
What was going? You asked me what was going on with you at the time when you were getting submission. I said I was being by myself.
So what was going on with me?
I was just trying to read.
Being blatantly honest.
I was just trying to I was reiterating the question so I can answer it.
What up, Sister V?
My honesty got me submission.
So this conversation, baby girl.
Thank you. Your honesty got you submission.
My honesty got me submission.
Right.
Like low key, a couple motherfuckers told me like, well, I mean, I want to be a part of the team until you start picking the starting lineup. Fuck me up. So my honesty.
So the question was it was supposed to be 2-part, but I'll answer.
Did we answer the first part though? Did we get to the first part?
I don't know what happened. I just ran into a story.
It was honesty. Yes.
Okay.
Finally, you did. There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
So
honesty for you.
Yeah, I had to work around. Yeah. Work around to it.
What was the dynamic you brought when you were able to have a woman be willing? What was the dynamic you brought when you couldn't get her to be willing? And were there similarities? That was
same thing.
That was the question. So
honesty.
cool.
Honesty.
Right.
Same exact thing.
We finally got to it. Cool.
Honesty.
So now it's right.
Fucking honesty.
I got you. Now my turn.
Yes.
Fucking honesty.
We don't
Don't
mind.
allow them to live in a bubble and live in a fantasy world and don't call out shit. It's cool. All they gotta do is do this, do that. They can live and be whatever it is you want them to pretend to be. But the minute you call out reality, it's a motherfucking problem.
So for me, I don't take their pushbacks or their attitude that pops up every now and then, or maybe more often than not. Like, I don't take that personally. I don't take that as not submission or not willing. I take you not doing I take you not sacrificing what you got to sacrifice to be beneficial to our relationship as not submission. So what I was doing when they were willing or trying to being able to submit or whatever, I remember that what I presented was a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a woman stop doing her job as it pertains to what she brought that made me feel like she was willing and submissive, right?
Like what?
Whether it be the sex, the cooking, the cleaning, the willing to keep her mouth closed when she need to, when I'm dealing with certain things, the willingness to listen to my plan or listen to a way we should move.
Okay.
She might give me hell in the house every now and then, maybe more often than I'd like, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was willing to present for me as my woman should present for me, as long as she was my woman.
Okay.
Right? So when I was able to get that out of him, I created a safe space. I had my shit together, meaning I could pay my bills and I didn't need nothing from her, material-wise.
So really, you're not asking for much.
I'm not asking for a whole lot.
So then what happened?
I was able to communicate well. I presented well in front of their friends and family. I didn't play games with them. At least I guess maybe what they would recognize as games. I didn't do that. Just my character, how I am, it'll keep me away from women telling me I'm playing games.
Okay.
Because if we fuck, we go together, and I'm cool with that.
So question, so those are the commonalities when you were getting the submission. What are the commonalities when you didn't get the submission? Or did you ever get to a place where you weren't getting submission?
So usually if I didn't get submission, I didn't get it off top. And I ducked out of there. But those happen when they just really didn't rock with my program. They didn't like something I said. I triggered something in them from their ex or their baby daddy. I wasn't aggressive enough.
You weren't aggressive enough?
Yeah.
In terms of like taking like making a stand on certain dishes?
No, trying to show them that I wanted them.
Okay.
Even though I did want them, but they view my level, they view my effort level as not being sufficient. And sometimes we still would take it there, but they'll hold that against me somehow. And you know what I mean? Sometimes they had a point, sometimes they didn't.
That's what I call it, 51-49.
So that sounds like
I wasn't bringing to the table as willingly what I brought to the table with others.
So what does?
So we didn't even get far at all.
Right.
If I had any moment where a woman that I was with who was submissive stopped being submissive and all of that, because we was having a series of arguments where I'll get real flip at the mouth and I disrespected them.
Yeah.
So the pushback would be lack of submission for a time, even though they still had to do what was necessary because their survival was tied to mine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So they had to submit because at the end of the day they understood that you were a life raft. In some instances,
I wouldn't call it a life raft because
if it's survival,
because they
if it's survival,
their survival was tied to mine.
So if it's survival,
which means if you went,
so if I'm if I'm a life raft,
then they go.
Well,
down.
I'm not. The reason I'm not calling it a life raft is because it's a wash. Because what I said was her survival was tied to mine.
Which is
that means my survival is tied to hers. So I'm not a life. I'm not the only life raft here. She's a life raft too because I put that in her hands.
How so?
Yeah.
How so?
Yeah, like technically the example that you've been given is like, if I'm paying the bills, I'm doing this and that. If she ain't cooked, you could still go buy some food. If she didn't watch the kids, let me go hire a nanny. If you get a pay cut, now you might go from this crib to this apartment, and it ain't much room for you and your mouth that you've been giving me lately.
Well, I had those situations when I was married, and it was just necessary for our lifestyle that they didn't work. But the in-betweeners all had jobs, they all worked, but they all still offered their level of submission. So I wasn't their life raft. It was we were willing to exchange these services.
So in that situation, it was submission plus submission.
It was no. It was submission. I guess so, because I submitted myself in a sense of service because I was a safe space for them.
Because again,
so yeah, but like duty wise, it was more on them. Not that I planned it that way; it just always turned into that.
So hold on, I want to turn this conversation. Not only want to turn it, but I really want to kind of just like angle this shit in a very specific way.
Okay.
The submission that men give should be fucking recognized and exalted.
Okay.
Okay. And I mean that because a lot of times when we have these conversations about submission, it's always about what the women have to submit to. It's never about what the men are submitting to. It's never about the vulnerabilities that we have to put on the table to allow to be played with, toyed with, interacted with. You know what I'm saying? Just to see if this is somebody who can stay around to continue to play around and interact with this area of our lives. For those who are players, you got multiple women sometimes in and out of that space and to different degrees. But how often do you really take stock of what you're giving? You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about submission from women, but men have to submit first in most cases. Most of the time, you have to take the risk of rejection, not her. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable space from the get-go. If she decides to buy into whatever your game is, now you don't know who. Now you have to take the time to get to know who this person is that you're bringing into your space. But it ain't her bringing you into her space. It's you bringing her into your space, which is even if it ain't my house. You know what? Shit, my people's throwing a party. Hey, you know what? Why don't you slide on through? Now this is my environment. I'm good. I still don't know who the hell you are. I don't know what you're gonna do after you get a couple drinks in you. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what you're gonna wear when you show up. I don't know what energy you're gonna bring. I don't know if you're gonna bump into somebody else that you know or used to know back in the day. I don't know none of that shit.
Used to fuck back in the day.
Yeah, used to fuck back in the day. Or used to have beef with back in the day. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't know nothing about it.
Are you taking them around your people before you know that?
That's part of vetting them.
Because I'm not.
That's part of vetting them.
I have.
Most guys will say, hey, meet me with my people. If they're throwing a party here, just come slide through.
In getting to know her.
Yeah.
Because you gotta,
Well, what I asked was, are you taking them in front of your people?
Yes.
Before you figure these things out?
In certain situations.
Because I'm not.
I'm gonna say that because
my family made this rule for me.
Now,
If
I
I
wouldn't bring it
never-
in my family house to go kick it with me and my cousins and
But-
shit. That I wouldn't do.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
if like somebody throw a
Fuck
party
that.
at a lounge or some shit,
No, I don't. I mean, because you don't know them in that environment until you get them in that environment. I don't know you at the lounge until I get you to the lounge. I don't know you with liquor outside of the crib because the right liquor with the crib. Oh, she got freaky. Can she control that? Did she get freaky because we've been freaky before anyway?
Right.
Or you know what I'm saying? Can she control that shit when we out in public? Or am I going? You know what I'm saying? We hanging out at the fucking bar and she done got drunk, and now she all on Monix lap, and it's like,
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Bitch,
You can't. You got to bring them around so you can know that.
That's what I'm saying.
But like,
that's
but
a
me,
vulnerability.
but
That's
me,
a
but
mission.
my steps are, all right. Am I comfortable with when it's just me and you out at dinner or going to the movies? That's low level, right? But you got to go through. But you go through it.
Levels.
I'm very new to having women around my people.
Okay.
Like, I don't do this, so it's new for me. But me and Vita had been kicked. We probably kicked it 56 times before I took her around my network.
Okay.
Right. As far as going out to and networking and going to the shows to support artists, we had been, and I had been around her family well before that. And we had talked, and I had a feeling what kind of woman she was. I saw how she moved. We was around people around outside. You know what I'm saying? I saw she paid attention to me. I saw what her focus was. Now, I'm not saying I looked at that and said, okay, now I'll take you around. I did not think about that. It's something I noticed in hindsight. But it subconsciously made me comfortable.
Right.
So now when I took her around, of course there's more vulnerability there, right? Because it's a lot of people around, a lot of guys out looking fly. It's a lot of singers, right? Singers, if singers can be ugly and get some ass.
There's also some submission to that.
But so
I was just about to say.
on her end, though.
Now, so let's change the word.
Wait. Go ahead.
What remind you, all I'm speaking to is when I took her to people like so she was vetted well before she was around my people that matters. Not that my friends don't matter, but like my family.
Right.
We dealt with a lot before she got to my family. My family's rule is 10 dates. That's all. We probably had 40, but but my family's rule is 10 dates. Like, don't we just be bringing this chick around?
Right. You don't know. You didn't test that chick out.
You know what I mean?
Now, wait. I'm gonna say that was also working towards a submission on her end, because you were also within those numerous amounts of dates, you were teaching her who you were and how to deal with you. And giving her the opportunity to say, "No,
do you want to rock with us or not?"
One time, the table. There's the table.
Hey,
one time the dude was at the bar. He looked a little too funny, and you flipped out. You know what I'm saying? I can't deal with you going off like that. You know what I'm saying? That you gave the opportunity. So technically, you utilized the way you do things and taught her at the same time on how you do things.
Yeah. All of my requirements get fulfilled by happenstance. Like I'm not the guy that I'm not going to put you in a position so I can know this, so I can see if you're going to do this. I've learned from me at least that it's going to happen just organically.
And that's how the correction or appreciation is shown.
And when I notice something I don't like, I'll bring it up. If she notices something she don't like, she'll bring it up.
Shout out to the chat, man. Nikki said exactly what you just said. I'm observant, and if you just fall back and pay attention, you'll know who you can submit to and who you can't. Real simple.
You doing what I like? That's good enough for me, really.
I feel like this is me with that. I completely disagree with that.
You can't disagree with me. Nigga's mine.
I know it's yours.
It's mine.
I know it's yours.
It's my comfort.
But because you put it out on the table,
right? As mine.
As yours. I feel like I have to put it on the table and say, hey,
some people like
you don't disagree with me. You just don't do it that way.
I don't do it that way.
Some people like donuts, some people like bear claws. You give me an apple fritter and get the fuck out of my face.
Yes.
I can use apple fritter.
Right now.
When it comes to submission, like I said, I think because everything you just explained was submission on the man's part. I'm bringing you into my world. I don't know if you're going to trip. I don't know if you're going to be jealous. I don't know if you're going to feel a certain way. I don't know how you're going to intake what you see. I don't know none of that shit. I don't know how you're going to feel under a couple of drinks. I don't know if you're going to get in your ego. I don't know none of that shit. But you know what? We went on a couple of dates. You know what I'm saying? We've done enough for me to feel like, okay, cool. You're ready for this part of my life.
So how was that me? How was that me submitting? I'm not against that being me submitting. I'm just trying to understand how.
Because every step, every inch you give is an inch they can take.
Well, it depends on how many she can take.
That's what I'm saying. Every inch you give. So if I give another inch and you take 3/4, okay, I can look at that and say, okay, you're being precautious.
So what
But
inch?
If you take that whole inch, you're gonna take that inch. Okay, cool. You done took that ground. Now what? Okay, I'm gonna give another inch. You done took that.
So
inch.
help me understand how I gave her an inch by taking her in front of my family. What did I give that she can take? She's there to.
It's not about taking anything from you directly. It's about you opening your life up more and more and more to a person that you're trying to get to know.
And to you, that's submission.
Incorporate them into your world.
And to you, that's submission.
To me, that's part of a man's part of submission. Yes.
Because when I did it,
I could keep your ass over there and just tell you to meet me at the house and call it a day. I could just say, hey, be ready when I come pick you up and call it a day. I could do that. You don't have to meet none of my family because none of that shit really matters because you with me. But what I do say is, you know what? Because my family is part of what I do, I'm opening them up to you. Because of my profession, I'm out here in the world doing this, doing that. I'm gonna bring you to the dinner.
I mean, because I think the way I see it is I lose nothing if she cuts up and don't come back around.
If somebody cut up, you gonna look a certain way if she cuts up in a certain way.
In your family, that's how it works.
You bring this bitch around,
but
if she cuts up,
right?
We gonna get at you because you should have brought this bitch around. But you know how we gonna treat her.
But he's still saying he slow stepped it though. So it wasn't like
in my family, if she cuts up, they're gonna ask me, oh, what's wrong? What's going on with her?
But you also
and they're gonna give me a hug.
You also
while ushering her out the door.
You took several precautions. You waited a time,
not subconsciously.
Well, I mean,
because it wasn't a plan.
Several dates. Some dates.
He said several.
It wasn't a plan. It's just kind of how we was moving.
Okay. So that's plenty of dates to actually vet her and decide whether or not you want to bring her around your family.
Right.
But
so I'm trying to see how that translates into submission for me.
I don't think that's submission for him. Depending on that's like the female proposing. I don't think that that's him submitting to her unless she was pressuring him to do that.
Right.
She was well, why haven't I met your family yet?
Us being around each other's family was
that, and she was cool with the 30, 40, 50 dates. You know what I'm saying? 34 dates or whatever the movie is.
Right.
No, then that I wouldn't say that part is submission.
Yeah. Like us being around each other's family was organic. It was like, hey, this is going on.
She took you around her shit. Well, that was on her.
Right.
That's not you submitting. That's you shit. This was
and that's not her
submitting if she decides to bring you around her people.
What did she submit? I don't understand how it's submission.
She's submitting parts of her life to you. Understand this.
Her opening up parts of her life is submission.
Listen. If you walk out this door, me and you met, you don't owe me shit.
Right.
Don't owe me. Let's use my relationship.
Hopefully, I owe you shit now.
You don't. Well, you didn't owe me shit.
$2 from last week.
At least $2.
Fair.
You owe me dinner.
Fair.
You owe me dinner. I don't give a fuck about that. You do owe me dinner.
Okay.
You do.
Oh, I'm dinner.
You'll be dinner.
Oh, nachos. I don't let you eat.
You do. That's true. That's true.
I share my nachos all the time.
Smash nachos like a motherfucker.
And he smashed half my fish and chicken dinner.
That's true. We shared this purse the other day, so I take back that comment.
God damn it.
Yo, Ricky didn't share this purse dinner with me, so I appreciate that. But the way I look at it is, when you're talking my mantra, same planet, different worlds.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So everybody's in their own little world. And anybody that allows you to have entrance into their world is submitting to you in some way. They're being vulnerable. To me, a vulnerability, when you expose a vulnerability with somebody, you're being submissive in a way. Because you're giving them ground that they otherwise would not have with you. So they can choose to do whatever that is with that ground. It can affect you however you allow it to affect you. But the statement is, it's still submitting ground.
Okay.
So you give an inch, they take an inch. You give a mile, they take a mile. You're submitting that space to them, so they take it. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be careful about the space that you're submitting to somebody. If somebody texts you and you answer every time they text, suddenly they're going to feel like every time I text, you're supposed to answer. Why? Because you've already submitted that ground to me. You know, if I pop up over your house and you don't say shit, I start to feel like it's okay for me to pop up over your house. Why? Because you've given me that ground and that permission to do it. It's a social contract.
Well, I guess technically it's submission, but we know how I feel about technically. People get off on murders for technicalities, so I don't really fuck with those. But okay, yeah, all right. Well, if that's submission, I'll submit that way. But I don't think it's noteworthy for me on my end. I don't feel like it's noteworthy. Okay. It's like some shit I would have did. I took ratchets around my family.
Yeah,
So the least I could do is take a classy chick around my family. That was submission. Like that was, she did me a favor.
Yeah, that's different.
By letting me do that.
I would never bring a ratchet bitch around my
family. I did. That's what the rule came from. My family was like, hey, nigga. Yeah, grandma done met 5.
Make a rule now.
Grandma done met 5 ratchets. She done met 5 ratchets.
She had a ratchet limit.
They had to have a family dinner. They had to have a family meeting and shit. Hey, no,
we can't. This is we got to put a cap on this ratchetry.
Hey, monitor, dog. Cut this shit out.
You feel me? Lil Anthony, come on now. What you doing?
LBT. Cut that shit out,
What you doing? You know, so
grandma done met 5 of your ratchet hoes.
Grandma done met 5 of my ratchets. And so I proceeded to not have nobody around them for 3 years.
Okay.
4. Oh no, 5. She met my family on New Year's Eve. That's when she met my family. So you know, I was caused to have to be careful.
Okay.
Because they asked me to do it. I'm reckless in and of myself, but I'm respectful. Like if it was just left up to me, I'm wild. It's all the money gone, all that. I'm gonna be honest. I know who I am.
Yeah, he got.
I'll handle my responsibilities. You know, like I pay my bills and take care of my babies and all that. Yeah. But the discretionary time and income, it's reckless.
Yeah.
Until I have a girlfriend or until I'm responsible for representing someone, then I watch myself.
Yeah.
And that me being reckless don't mean I'm gonna have sex with everybody because I stopped doing that a while ago.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's sure. He's absolutely sure.
So now, but you know, when it's time to. When I got to stand up for somebody, when I got to represent somebody, when I'm accountable, I'm accountable. But, you know, so you know, they asked me to switch that up, so I did, and I didn't bring nobody around for. Nobody lasted more than a couple months. So it's like, you know,
and maybe that's your family's way of saying, hey, don't submit that kind of space to these hoes.
Well, that's you. Nigga. That's you sticking that word in there.
No, that's what I'm listening to. Because if you say you were able to bring 5 hoes around grandmama, then all of a sudden the family had to say, hey, you know what?
Nobody in my family. I'm confident saying that nobody in my family has ever used the words in
they may not.
They have never used the word submit your space.
They may not have
in a sentence.
They may not have. But what they're saying is this is our space as a family. This is our sacred space as a family. If you're gonna bring somebody in here, don't bring no ratchet bitches in here.
I still feel like we're jamming the word submit in there.
I'm not gonna jam anything. Call your cousins and ask them for yourself. I'm telling you as a cousin. I'm telling you as a family nigga.
Well, I'm a cousin
That's
too.
What they telling you. Don't bring these ratchet hoes in our space because this is our family space. If you're gonna bring a woman in here, that's quality, that can vibe with us, that's gonna gel with us.
Well, sure.
Don't bring no hoe in here that we're gonna have to talk about and cat on, make her feel uncomfortable, and make you feel stupid.
My family is not saying that,
okay.
And they can't even charge me with that because we got to find out if she.
That's my family.
We got to find. Yeah, that's your family.
You bring us around.
That's why I said my family.
You bring the wrong chick around my family. They gonna clown.
That's why I said my family can't charge me with that.
Our space is very, very sacred.
Because your family is what y'all do.
If you bring a chick into our space that ain't gonna bring energy, that's not going to bring my brother. Brought some chick that he was just dating. Daniel. Brought some chick that he's just dating. Just dating. Just brought her through. Changed the energy. Off top. Why? Because not that she changed the energy of the family, but it's like the family was like, who is this bitch?
Right.
Who the fuck is this?
Who is this? Okay, a random.
You are random. She didn't come in and speak, talk to people, nothing like that. She was real, like, I'm gonna sit on the couch. I really want to go. Body language is all off. Family, like, man, hey, bro, what the fuck is this?
So my family don't get to tell me that, not to that extent. I can buy the date. I can buy the dates, right? Fine. We'll to get to know her a little bit before you do that. My first wife, I brought her around. I loved her socks off. Loved her to pieces. You couldn't tell me shit bad about her. They still couldn't. But when she came in, she was kind of standoffish and not comfortable. And they was like, oh, she's stuck up and all of that. And I had to defend her because I'm like, I know who she is. She's not performing that way here. Was she able to come back around?
Was she?
Held to the yes because I brought her around.
Okay.
And so when they figured it out.
They figured it out.
So
she actually kept coming around. She kept showing up.
They figured it out.
Becoming present.
They figured it out the next time she came around.
She kept being present. Did she ever open up?
The second time she came around.
Okay, the second time she came around. Yeah. So the first time she came around, she was closed off.
Yeah.
The second time she came around, she opened up.
Yeah.
So it sounds like both sides learned a lesson, or not even learned a lesson, but figured it out.
Well, they love me
Which
enough.
is-
They love me enough to give her a chance.
Okay, and she understood that this is his family dynamic. If I'm gonna come in here, I can't be coming in here timid. I got to come in here and mess with people.
She understood some things.
I
Yeah.
got to open up some. This is a sacred space.
Yeah.
He's submitting his family space to me. I have to honor that by at least giving some effort.
Hey, listen, me feeling like you're jamming that word in there does not make me right. It's just what I think.
It don't make me wrong.
No, exactly.
But
It's just what I think.
I get you.
I don't see the correlation.
I get you.
I kind of get.
I feel like that's a real reach around. Like we got to really dig and dissect. You had to say 400 words to make that shit
No,
stick.
I did not have to explain what you said to make sure I lined it up right.
Well, maybe you didn't have
And
to,
then
but you did.
And then I said,
But you did say 400 words to make that shit stick. Maybe you didn't have to,
just
but you
reiterated
definitely
what you
did.
said. That's all.
No,
I just
it's
reiterated
different.
what you said. I wanted to make sure I was clear.
We got with this shit. Good thing about this is recorded.
I get it because that per what Monica's saying to me interpreting that submit was almost like sacrifice, the well-being of the family, how we are as a family dynamic, and I that's kind of what it seemed like. Where it's really like, hey man, come on, you either if you ain't shit, then they gonna say it, and I'm not really gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying also, as far as the energy wasn't there. If you come around, really, you throwing that line out there. Whether I've told y'all, hey, so I'm dealing with this. She cool. We've been going out. I done warned y'all ass. And two years later, so this the motherfucker I was telling y'all about from then. You know what I'm saying? But when COVID hit and we was all in the house, but you know what I'm saying? But I was sneaking out. It was this motherfucker versus hey, I met somebody. She finna come here right now. She parked the car because I rode with her.
I ran.
Yeah. And it's like, energy is gonna be energy regardless. So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. What time is this?
And most of the time, what happens is when you do come around somebody, yes, you're gonna be timid. That's okay. Get that. But what I'm saying is, either way it goes, you don't know how that person is going to respect your space.
Right. Yep.
You don't know how that person is going to respect.
You don't know how they're going to.
You don't know how you don't know how they're going to react to something that they perceive from something your family might have did. So again,
even a look,
they'll put you to the side and say, you know what? I don't like the way your cousin looked at me. You like, what you mean? She was cool.
Or your cousin can say, I don't like the way she looked at me.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So again, you don't know what.
But now, so per Monix, is that still considered submission?
I consider none of this submission. He does, and that's okay. It's just I probably got another word for it that probably mean the same thing. I took a chance.
That's the same thing.
I
mean, to me, it's the same.
It's just cool. We can agree to disagree.
A risk is a risk.
That sounds like Libra, and I'm a Virgo.
If it's a risk, it's a risk. If you gamble, you're submitting your money to whatever happens to the fate of the dice.
Now that you put it that way,
if you throw your money on, if you in the streets rolling dice, you are submitting your money for whatever happens. So if you win, great. If you lose, fuck.
But submission is different in that context.
When
when
you hold
one of those motherfuckers is a verb, and one is they both are verbs. They both are verbs.
It's the same thing as you bring somebody into your circle that you're not quite sure how they're gonna respond.
But risk by no way means submission. It just doesn't, and but
I mean, that's fine.
Y'all low key agreeing.
We are. We just
the methods are the same. We just agreeing on the word.
Yeah. It's literally the same shit. But
I'm fucking freakish about being into etymology.
And I want to give up on my point.
So I just know I know the definitions. I know the definitions of words and shit. And risk don't mean submission.
Well, risk doesn't mean submission, but what I'm saying
a chance doesn't either.
If you submit something, you're
Chance
at
is
risk.
A rapper, though.
If you wake up in the morning, you're at risk. I mean,
and chance is a risk.
You're always at risk. And, so if that's the case, our whole life is a big submission party.
Exactly what it is.
So sure, in that context, then sure, that's fine. But that's technically that's technical as fuck. And like I said about technicalities.
And walk out in the world, you're submitting yourself to the world.
Okay, so that's the real roundabout way. Fine, if that's the case. But
if you show up at work, you're submitting yourself for work. If you show up for practice, you're submitting yourself for practice. If you show up for duty, You're submitting yourself for
And
duty.
whatever the
I think all of that's real.
Whatever the liability.
I think
or
all of that
whatever
is a
the
real
duty
big
is.
finesse of the word submission.
It's literally
Except
what it
I've
is.
never in my life said I'm submitting myself at work.
I mean, but
You ain't gotta
I'm there.
say
I'm
it
there
for
for.
it to
I'm
be
there.
that.
I'm there. You're right, but I'm
You
there.
ain't got to say it
I'm
for
not
it
there to
be
submit
that.
shit. I'm there for a fair exchange.
You still submit.
I'm there for an exchange. It ain't even fair, really, because master ownership, wage capitalism is wage slavery. You can't pay us enough. But I'm there for an agreed upon situation. I'm there to do this job. You're gonna give me this money.
You have submitted your time to be
Okay,
at a
that's
specific
all-
place.
that's
I can
all
also
specific
make an award submission.
that's like barter.
Yeah.
So those are
Services.
two different contexts.
It's the same shit.
It's not. It's really not.
It is.
Not at all.
It is.
If we're gonna make up our own definitions of things, then sure.
I'm not making it up.
That's definitely what happened here,
it is,
because none of that
When
means
you were in the military.
yes.
You had to
That I was.
get up in the morning or at a certain time. You had to submit yourself to be examined, right?
Yeah.
When they come through and check your bunker, make sure your shit clean, make sure your shit is tidy. Huh?
No,
No.
that's
No.
not submitting yourself.
No.
No, regardless
No.
how many times you say no, or how loud you say it.
Yeah, bro.
You submitted
So when
yourself
they,
when
so when they
you
gotta check,
signed
so when they
up.
gotta check you to make sure you're nice and in order,
You
right?
volunteered yourself.
right?
You know who had to submit? My workers.
Slaves.
My
So your
workers.
workers had to.
My
submit.
workers had to submit, and
Same
I had to submit as a worker. It's not the same as me
That's
taking my.
exactly
It's
what
not
you
the same as me.
submit.
It's not the same as me inviting my girl into my space.
It's
That is not the same
submitting.
thing. That's
You're
a horrible
giving her-
analogy.
You're giving her an opportunity to present in
We
your
got 3 minutes.
space.
You'll be fine. I don't need to do none of that shit. We took pictures before. But it's yeah, that shit, that's wild. I don't know. You ain't gonna get me to agree on that.
That's cool.
But
That's cool.
now she is right. So let's wrap this shit up.
Yeah. We didn't get no music breaks in. We just
Nope.
jumped in and
We
went
just
straight in.
start arguing about submission.
We didn't get no other questions. in.
Wrap that shit up, B.
Man, shout out to the chat, man. We appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate y'all for stopping by, man. Y'all know the number 630-465-0229. And y'all know to hit us up on our Shoptalk 7 page, as well as our business page. All right.
All right, y'all. We don't like y'all stinking ass in there. Bye.
What we going out with? Can we at least send them out properly?
They are probably go the fuck home. Bye. See you later.
Give them a song and shit.
Iron Flower, Xavier 2 times.
Damn, we can't get. We gotta show Xavier some love, man. Shout out to 2 times, man. Shout out to 2 times, man. We got Iron Flower coming up, man.